Okay, we're back with some more color study, and I went to the blues, and so I laid out some blues that I have not done in any of my previous ones, and came up with some Cerulean blue chromium, cobalt blue, French ultramarine, Prussian blue, and Indanthrone blue, and indigo. And so as I was putting them on my plate right here, I went to open my Daniel Smith, and that thing, I couldn't, yeah. So I had to go to a substitute, which is going to be my Winsor Newton. I wanted to use all Daniel Smith, but I had to call an audible, so here we go. I'm just going to scoot these out of the way anyway. I don't like them getting in my way. Alright, so we're starting with, and this Cerulean chromium, it was really super separated from the gum arabic, so I used a toothpick, and it is just, in fact, I probably should have tried to activate it before I started the video. I'll just throw a little water on it now to start that activation process on all of them. Should use a pipette. I don't know why I'm doing the brush. Let's add one more dribble drabble on that guy because he is super sticky. It's that gum arabic, I know. Alright, so let's see if we can get some pigment up here and get a really saturated first cell. I don't recall using much of this before, and the tube tells me I haven't because it's really like super full. But I don't remember using it, and I know Cerulean's one of those granulating colors. But this one's got chromium on it, and you know, usually when they put a word after Cerulean or any other word, there's a reason behind it, whether it be hue or genuine or whatever. So it'd be interesting to see another Cerulean next door to it, side by side, but I don't have another Cerulean. I just have this one. So and maybe they all Ceruleans are chromium. I don't know. All right, that feels pretty pigmented. That feels pretty good. All right, let's move on. It's pretty blue. About as royal blue as that Winsor blue, but just without the deep that deep undertone. But that was messy. Ooh, messy, messy, messy. All right. See if we can lighten up that pigment. I got a lot of pigment on this brush. Well, I did pick up some more, in all fairness. Alright, seems like we got a little too much pigment here. Spread that bad boy out. And it's still got too much pigment in that space, I think. Let me see if I can offload some up here. I think I can because there's a lot of water here, so that should let me move it fairly easily, and if not, we can blot. Blotting is our friend, even though I hate it. We can balance it when we're done. Let's get this really pale one done. That'll leave the brush fairly dry. And I can go back and pick up pigment if I still feel like I need to. Try not to go back into the water with this last cell so that it has the that's not too bad. You know what, I'm going to try to move the camera down on this a little bit. I noticed that it's really up there, and I think it would be a nicer shot. I know I would enjoy watching a video better if I could see a little closer what's happening. Alright, let's see here. Yep, I'm pretty happy with those 5 cells. All right, moving on. What's next? Cobalt. This is, again, very blue. I notice when I watch other artists, you know, some only use Cerulean, some only use Ultramarine. That's their blue of choice, and I guess that's just a personal preference that I haven't figured out for myself yet, which is my favorite primaries. But I think it might have to do with the season too, because I think sometimes, for me anyway, I think sometimes certain times of the year you gravitate towards other colors. See, look how turquoisey now Cerulean next to Cobalt. It's fun. This is good information for me. And it's just what I've been doing lately, and I love the process. I was saying this to somebody the other day. Sometimes maybe I was saying it to you, I don't know. Sometimes you love the process, and sometimes you love the outcome, and sometimes, if you're lucky, you love both. Yeah, I think I was saying it on one of my videos the other day. My color studies. There's no theory here, it's just a study. We're just studying these colors to see what they do, and how they look, and how they react, and how the midtones show up. That's what I've been missing in my art practice this whole time, is midtones. And I like seeing, that needs more pigment. I think the midtones there's a lot of artists out there who will tone their paper before whether it's watercolor or acrylic, they'll put a midtone down, or even a light wash down. And man, I think midtones are overlooked. They're the middle child. They're the Jan Brady of the paint world, right? Marsha. Okay, do I want more pigment in this middle one? I think I'd want a little bit more, but I don't think I can. I don't think I've got the luxury, because I think it's going to be too much like these other ones if I do. I'll do a little bit more, but oh, now we're too much like that one. Dang, should have left well enough alone. All right, well, there I go again, overworking it. All right, move on. I'm going. No, I don't have enough pigment. More pigment required. And that is watery as heck. Yep. Oh, look how pretty that is. I can see why people use this for sky color. Doesn't it look like a wispy spring day? Beautiful day with not a cloud in the sky kind of color. Oh yeah. All right, next is French Ultramarine. And I know that there's just Ultramarine. And I know there's, French Ultramarine. Couldn't tell you what the difference is yet. Maybe one of these days I'll do them side by side. But for the moment, I'm just using what I've got on my palette. Using what I've got. It's kind of a mantra for 2025. It's not here yet. I'm getting an early start on my resolutions. Use what I've got. And by doing these color studies, it'll help me use what I've got, because I'll know better what I've got in my, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Don't grab the wrong blue. Turn it. sad part about this close-up shot is I run the risk of going off camera accidentally and not realizing it, so I've got to be more mindful of that. And I don't mind, it's just it's a matter of making myself go double check. Because I get so in the zone, I get so zen in the painting process, which is how this whole thing started. This whole thing started, in case you were wondering and didn't ask, but you didn't wonder, I'm just going to share, is I was having a very stressful work day. And I work from home since COVID. I work from home. And I was having one of those days where it just felt like, what is that book, that children's book? Upside, no good, very bad day. Upside down, no good, very bad day. Something like that. It might not even be the title. It just might be like the tagline or the byline. But anyway, I was having just a really rough day at work. Extraordinarily rough. We all can. And life is not going to be easy all the time. I get that. But I just decided that I was going to step away from my work desk for a bit, and I've noticed that things with color swatches on it just always I'm always drawn to those. They just make me happy to look at them. You know, you see notebooks in a bookstore that have color swatches on it, and I just want to buy it just because I love the color swatches. I have no intention of using the notebook, even though I could. I'm attracted to the color swatches. So anyway, I don't know, a confluence of events happened, and I had just gotten my Schminky set, my super granulating greens, my forest colors, and I had a thought, well, I'm just going to swatch them, and then something made me remember this template, this stencil that I've got from Tim Holtz, which I've shown before. It's this guy. It's THS, boy, if I could read that without lighting, I don't know. 173, I think. Anyway, and I remembered that, and I went and pulled it out and got out my little mechanical pencil and just started swatching, or just started doing the colors. And I thought, oh, this is very helpful. This calms my inner hamster wheel down a little bit, because I start overthinking what I could have done different in that work scenario, and how I could have avoided wow, I got samey pigment going on here. How I could have done it better, or what, I don't know. You just start having those conversations in your head that they're not good for anybody, really. They're not always productive and helpful conversations. They're not critical, but they're just, you're overthinking things. And I was trying to figure out how to let go of some of that thought process. Anyway, as I started swatching, I realized, and I started playing with these colors, because that green palette makes me so happy. And I'm not a green person, but I am now, apparently. And it hit me how much more calm I was after taking half an hour and just not, it's not say not thinking, because you are thinking. But it shifts your gears. It shifts you from left brain to right brain, or whatever that process is. And it's a bit meditative. And I know other artists have mentioned that as well. I'm not the first person to discover that. Okay, that's French Ultramarine. I really like that. It's really a true blue. And that makes that Chromium, Cerulean Chromium, look far more in the turquoise range. But I wouldn't have thought so. But it sure does. In fact, I'm going to pull out my turquoise card that I just did last. And it could easily fit in that family. That's Cerulean. And you know what? I have my overhead light on, and that is giving a yellow cast, so I'm going to turn that off. and get more back to a true blue. There we go. Should have done that earlier. My bad. Nope, that was my first one I did. Nope, that's not the one I wanted. I want the one I just did an hour ago. 2 hours ago. Oh, it's over here. Okay. Well, no, it's really in the blue family. But next to the Cobalt and the French Ultramarine, it really does give you the teal vibe, right? Anyway. Okay, moving on. Prussian. Ooh, I know I love Prussian. I've enjoyed using Prussian in the past. It's been a while since I've used Prussian, but I know when I have used it, I have really enjoyed it. And then these last two, Indanthrone and Indigo, I am not familiar with at all. In fact, I'm not sure I've ever used Indigo, ever. And I bought Indanthrone because an artist had painted with it, and I put it in my shopping cart. You know how you do, and then I ordered it, but I've never opened it. In fact, it's a little bitty tube because I was that unsure if I would like it or whatever. You know, you order the little tube before you have a chance to play with it, I suppose. Okay, Prussian is coming through really navy. Super deep blue. I'm not mad about it because I've found that I really like the hyperpigmented, ultra saturated colors because of the range that you get, the midtones and the lighter washes. I really enjoy that with super saturated colors. Oh, there she is. What is it about that color that is so beautiful? I don't know. Prussian blue. This is a really beautiful blue. It's been a minute since I've used it. You know, I go in kicks where all I want to do is paint for a while, and then I start playing with paper for a while, and then I kind of move around several different mediums and disciplines, and then I'll do mixed media for a while, and it's been a while. It's been a little bit since I've watercolored, and I think that's part of why I've been doing these color studies, was just to, you know, get my muscles back and remind myself. Oh, I also do photography, which I haven't touched it in a while, and I've been getting out lately doing that, and the weather's been beautiful, so it's been really nice to be. Ooh, hello! I just about dropped a whole waterfall of water there. But the bottom line is that you, like with the photography, I'd forgotten, you know, certain tricks that you know with f-stops and certain things, and so, you know, you get out there and you start practicing again, and then you start remembering, oh right, this is how you do that, and so this color study is kind of helping me get that, oh right, this is that color again. But I do love it, and one day when I retire, 10 years from now, it won't take that long to retire, but anyway, I'll just do this full time. I'll just play with my paints, play with my colors, play with my paper, play Play with my photos. All right, moving on to Indanthrone blue. All right, this is new territory. This looks very like purpley gray blue to me just on the palette. Oh, can't see it much, can you? Sorry about that. That close-in shot does limit what I can. It's this one here. It is. To the naked eye, it's kind of black. And I suspect it's going to be super dark here as well. Yeah, it's bordering on black for sure. Oh, I saw something interesting earlier this week where somebody took, speaking of black, took black. Now, I've always mixed my greens with, first of all, I love a pre-made green, but I also like mixing my own greens. And I've always mixed my greens with, you know, yellow and blue mint green. You know, and I saw somebody take, I think it was lamp black, and I forget the yellow, so my apologies for partial information. It made the most amazing greens. And so, did I order some lamp black? Yes, I did. But it's a good basic color to have. And I know there's some people go, oh, black doesn't belong in your palette. Make your own black. You know what? Do what makes you happy. Don't worry about what other people say. Rules are there to be broken. Colors didn't exist in some cases until artists broke rules and wow, that's super dark. Okay, I need to no more pigment and pull that across. My eyes are having a hard time focusing right now. It's like I got a cold starting in my eyes or something. So I feel like I keep having to blink and okay, that's a little better. It's still super dark. Boy, that's going to be interesting to see how that matches up next to Indigo, because that's feeling very indigo-y. Is that a word? I don't think so. I think I just made that word up. Nope, I just added a Y to the end. You didn't even make it up. That was lazy. Okay. Man, I love that Prussian. I like that Cerulean Chromium too. I'm drawn to those more than the true blues. But true blues have their place, so it's good to have some in your palette or in your repertoire to pull out when you need it. But honestly, if I could give anybody any advice, and I'm not one to be giving people advice because I'm just a self-taught artist, and that is buy the colors that speak to you. Buy the colors that you like, that you can't wait to open up a sketchbook and start putting color to paper. Oh, I may have overshot the mark with that little charging pigment. Wow. Okay, let's move on. Let's add some water to this one and move on and pull as needed. Buy the colors you like. And don't go by that. That is a bad representation of a color. Buying the dot charts might be smart, or just buying a small little tube until you get the chance to use it and see if you like it. That could be another. And play with colors you like. Play with colors that speak to you in color combos. Don't worry if you're going to make mud. Just play. Of course, I'm speaking to myself as much as anybody else. Right? That's how it works. Well, that was a little careless. All right, Indanthrone. I do like you. I think ultimately at some point I might end up doing like a whole big, I don't know, sketchbook or notebook of, you know, like a 9x12 sheet and draw a whole bunch of squares and then just put colors on those squares and just, you know, go Roy Biv with it. Every color that I have. Okay, so this last color, Indigo, now that it's on the plate, it is separated with this gum arabic. So I'm going to grab a toothpick instead of using my brush like I did before. And I am going to, ooh, that's like taffy. Ooh. All right. We're just going to try to reintegrate that gum arabic with the pigment. And then, because I'm such a frugal fanny, I'm going to try to take the pigment off that toothpick. Alright, Indigo, you're on deck, baby. And you know, Indigo's the color they use to dye denim. So I'm expecting a super saturated color here. And there's a lot of, Indigo's also a color I think used in Chinese or Japanese or both. Clothes making and art making. There's like, I was in Japan not too long ago and they had this whole indigo, we went to this museum with this whole indigo exhibit. Absolutely stunning. And I think that's why I thought, okay, I need to be playing with indigo some, because I loved some of the range that they were getting. In fact, it was such a, these pieces of rice paper were super old and you couldn't even, they wouldn't let you take photos of them because of the fear of the flash accidentally going off, and they confiscated your phones at the entrance because they were afraid that the flash would go off and it would degrade the indigo. And absolutely beautiful. I have a very good friend who is a big Japanese art enthusiast as well as an indigo lover, and his name's Philip, and so I'm sitting here thinking about him while I'm swatching this, which is, these two colors, if you'll notice, are identical, and that's not what the goal was here. The goal was to have a mid-tone, and I am not mid-toned to this at all. Alright, let's see if I can back some of this pigment off. Whew. Man, that is just, talk about. Alright, let's go up here and see if we can offload, dry the brush out a bit more. We'll revisit that space here in just a minute. Even that is still unbelievably saturated compared to some of the other pigments I've dealt with. But I'm loving the color. And what I'm loving about it is because even Indanthrone blue and indigo at this level, or this has more purple in it, which probably the camera's not picking up. But it's up here where we're going to see the biggest difference in those two pigments. The indigo from the Indanthrone. And if I'm saying that wrong, please forgive me. I try to get names and pronunciations correct, but I'm not always accurate on that. Okay, so now let me see if I can go fix that second to last cell. That is just so deeply saturated, and I really was hoping to. I don't like rinse the pigment out, but I feel like I have to. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, don't go anywhere. Let's get that corner filled in. And now that I've added some water, let me see if I can offload some pigment here and find. Oh, there we go. It's just creative play, but I like it when I get kind of what I was looking for, which is something lighter than this, but darker than that, you know. That was my hope. I think we got it. But I really would like to do an indigo. After seeing that exhibit in Japan, I would love to play around with indigo and do some monochromatic pieces in indigo. I don't know exactly how that would look yet. It's just an idea of a thought. It's still forming. Wow. It just keeps coming, and I'm offloading it here as much as I can, and there's just so much pigment. All right, let me offload some of this pigment too, because it seems a little too much. But we're almost there. Got one more cell after this. That's that top lightest most cell. These two are super similar though. All right, let's just rinse that brush, dry it a bit, and see if we can pull this back. Yep, there we go. All right, now let's do this super pale wash one now. I was off camera. I wasn't looking. Sorry. Sorry. What I need is somebody sitting on the sidelines going, "Psst, you're off shot. You're out of the shot." All right, I think I can live with that. I know it'll dry a bit paler, but just trying to get a range here with that indigo. It's an art, not a science, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's move the palette out of the way. Put the study back in focus. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty nifty, folks. Such a spectrum of blues, and I'm loving all of them for different reasons. Of course, I'm sitting here nitpicking my lines, but at the end of the day, it's just play. Right? Right. Okay, Dawn, put the brush down. Putting the brush down. Thank you for joining me again. See you soon. Bye.